Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Dr. Wajid Alim. Today I will discuss the derivatives. That what is derivatives? So derivatives are the contract between two parties, between two investors to buy or sell something in a future date at a price which is settled today. Whenever the two party or two investor enter in an agreement for the sale and purchase of something or some assets, that contract may be exercised in a future date while the price for that contract is settled today. A common example can easily explain the term derivatives. Let's two party or two investor, party A and party B. The party A wants to buy 100 carats of gold after 3 months at a price of 110,000 today. Now the party B agrees for the sale of 100 carats of gold to party A, which is to be exercised after 3 months at a price which is settled today, and that is 110,000. So such kind of a contract is called the derivatives contract. Now mostly the derivatives contract are carried out for the journal commodity, but whenever the derivatives contract or exercise for the financial instrument, then we can call such kind of derivatives as the financial derivatives. It must be remembered that the derivatives market exists to minimize risk for the investor, which is the major threat for each and every investor. So four things must be remembered within the derivatives contract, that within the derivatives market there must be a contract between two party or two investor. The second thing that is the contract must be for the sale and purchase of something or some assets. Third most important point within the derivatives contract, that the contract must be exercised at a future date. And the last important point is the price for the contract must be settled today. So whenever these four points exist in any agreement, then we can call that agreement as the derivatives contract. Now, as the term reflects that derivatives contract derived its value from the underlying assets. Underlying assets is the second most important point which we have discussed, that the contract must be for the sale and purchase of something. Now that underlying assets may either be the commodity like rice, wheat, etc. It may be for the precious metals, or it may be the interest rate. All these along with others are the underlying assets on which the derivatives contract can be carried out. As we have already discussed that derivatives market exists for the minimization of risk, which is a major threat to each and every investor. Now on the basis of risk, there are four types of the derivatives contract. The first one is the forward contract. Whenever the derivatives contracts are started, then the first and foremost contract which held and carried out by the investor or the forward contract. That is why this is called the simplest and oldest form of derivatives. Here in the forward contract, only two counterparties or two investors meet or enter in an agreement to buy or sell something at a future date at a price which is settled today. This is the most simplest form of derivatives. Here two investors just enter in an agreement or agree for a contract that to buy or sell something in a future date at a price which is settled today. So such type of a contract is called the forward contract. Here it must be remembered that no intermediaries are involved here. Intermediaries means that no third party or no exchange party are involved in the forward contract. As there is no third party involved here, so that is why the default risk in the forward contract is too high. Now each and every investor want to reduce or minimize the default risk. That is why a second type of derivatives come in, and that type of derivatives contract is called the future contract. The future contract is the second most important type of the contract, which is similar to the forward contract. Why it is similar? Because here again, a contract is signed or agreement or the two party enter into an agreement for the sale and purchase of something at a future date and at a price which is settled today. However, to reduce risk or to reduce the default risk which exists in the forward contract, here the third party or intermediaries are involved in the future contract. It means that the two party may enter into an agreement, but the entire responsibility takes the exchange or the third party for the exercise of that contract. So here the default risk is minimized up to a large extent. These contracts are of standard nature and cannot be modified in any way. The forward contract which we have discussed are just the commercial, or we can say the non-standardized methods. Here the future contract are the standardized because the exchange are involved or the third party are involved in the exercise of such a contract. That exchange contract come in a predetermined that exchange contract are in a pre-decided format. It means that the term and condition for the agreement are already established. Only the two party agree for the price and the quantity of assets. The other term and condition are already established, and the two party has to follow all the term and condition. Now still risk exists, which is a major threat to the investor, and that risk is the risk of default. Now to minimize the default risk again, the third type of the contract come to N, which is called the option contract. Option contract means that the option contract are different from the rest of the two, because here one party has the obligation to buy or sell something or some assets, while the other party has the right to make a choice for yes or no. In a simple word, we can say that whenever two investors enter into an agreement for the sale and purchase of something in a future date at a price settled today. Now after the exercise at the exercise date, if one party want or wish to deny from the contract, then he must purchase the right to make a choice for yes or no. That party which make a choice will pay premium for it, because you have the rights to go for the contract, to exercise the contract or not exercise. It means that if you feel satisfied and you feel profitable in the contract, then you can exercise the contract. But after 1 month or 2 months, if you feel that the contract which you sign is not profitable for you, or you feel yourself unsatisfied, then you have the rights to deny the contract. However, for that you have to pay the premium because you have the right. Now there are two types of option contract. One is the put option and call option. In the put option, give the rights, not an obligation to sell something, while in the call option it gives rights, not an obligation to buy something. One is the put option is for selling. It provides the rights to investor to sell something, while the call option provide rights to the investor to buy something. The fourth most important types of contract, of derivative contract, is swaps. Swap Swaps is mostly complicated derivatives in the market because it enables the participant to exchange stream of cash flow, like swapping fixed interest rate for a floating one. A simple example can easily explain the swaps that two investor one investor take a loan from a bank at a fixed rate, while the other investor take a loan at a floating rate. So both the investor can exchange the fixed rate with a floating exchange rate through a derivative contract which is called swaps. So it is a private negotiation between two parties. Hope that all the types of derivatives will clear to all of you. Thank you.